Looks like we're live. So hi, happy Thursday, everyone. I'm having fun playing today. It's kind of weird. It was like all warm and nice outside, and then the winds came in, and now it's like raining on and off. So who knows? Who knows what's going on? Crazy weather. That's what it is. Okay. And sadly, my iPad didn't recognize who I was. So do I look differently to you? So we are going to be putting together a dog wreath today. I put out a feeler about an hour ago. I don't know if you guys saw the little sneak peek on it, but that's what's up on that end of things. Let me make sure we're live in Facebook. I just need to make sure we're live in YouTube. It's kind of weird. I'm like, where's the new one? View channel, please. Clicking. We're there. Hi, J-Cat. Hi, Georgiana. Hi, Nissy. Hi, Cheryl. 91 where you are? Oh, wow. Yeah, it's weird. It's like I dressed for what it looked like, and then I stepped outside and I was like, whoo, take the jacket off. Maybe I should go put my t-shirt on. And then lo and behold, the winds just started kicking up just before I walked out here, and I was like, it's crazy. It's going to be a blustery day. So here is sneak peek of what we're doing today. So you saw this in one of my earlier sneak peeks. I think it's when we voted on a wreath. And so I was like, this is super cute. So I want to put this together in a design. And I struggled a little bit with a color, like which color to do as far as like the base. And so I hope you're going to like the base color that I picked out. Before we get started, if you want to save this tutorial, you're on YouTube, click the save button. They make it super simple. You're on Facebook, you need to hit the share button. It does a quick copy paste from my Facebook page to your Facebook page. Make sure once it's over on your page, you click download so that you can save that tutorial, because 30 days from today, it's going to look an awful weird like through my Facebook, because I started looking. All you're going to get is like that, whatchamacallit, there's a link that says like this post has been removed by or deleted or whatever it is. That's Facebook. That's what my page is going to look like wherever there was a tutorial. So I'll have to go in and edit those and just put all the YouTube links in. But if you want to be notified when I go live and you're on YouTube, subscribe. I'd love to have you join my channel. If you are on Facebook, you have to do, see, Facebook's complicated. You have to click the like button, and then you have to hit the follow button, which is hidden. It's the three little dots next to the blue button to the right. Click on that, opens up another menu, and click follow, and you'll be all set. Let me go ahead and get chat going so I can read both in one place, which is always nice. I'm going to try this here and see what happens. Website is posted down below for those of you that are interested in purchasing any of my wreaths, joining my private group. What else is over there? Some bow making recipe that you guys absolutely adore and love. You can do all that over there. So, and there's a lot of free tutorials like how to clean a grapevine and some fun stuff that I thought you guys would really like. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pivot you down. I just had my lunch. Actually, I had lunch quite a while ago. I was goofing around, not doing stuff that I probably should have been doing, but it kind of feels like a Friday. And I don't know why that is. I am just adjusting my camera angle. It's just being a little odd. Okay, so obviously 14-inch dollar share wreath frame. I have the first 5 sections done. We're going to wire together the last. If you're interested in this sign, by the way, it is a 10-inch round from Personalize It by Pam. You can find her on Etsy. Okay, so we are going to take 3 pipe cleaners. That's what you'll need for each section. We're going to start by wiring together the inside 2. Making sure that our pipe cleaners are even. Joan, it's 50 in Virginia. I don't know what it is here. 61, but it's raining. You'll hear it go on and off. It'll sound like the shower. It was crazy. I thought it was totally raining earlier today when I was out in the shop cutting all my materials. And then I walk outside and it was the wind. The wind actually sounded like rain, just kind of like pummeling the inside of my shop, which was weird. I have a video, I'll post that later, of how crazy the winds got. It's like wind wars. They were talking to each other. So inside 2, 1 pipe cleaner using the welds as our indicator. Just go for somewhere in the middle. And then the outside 2 are going to be the weld and this one. Kind of find a midway point. Same thing here. That gives you 6 to the inside, 12 to the outside, grand total of 18. Now, what color deco mesh did Kat pick? It was a toss-up, man. I was going to go blue. And then I was like, do I want to go blue? I'm like, nobody has a blue dog. And I was thinking, like, what would be a really popular color? So I opted to go with the fabric mesh in the natural and tan color. You can pick this up at Craft Outlet, which is my general, it's like my favorite place to shop. You get good quality deco mesh, low shipping minimum, which is $69. I don't get anything from Craft Outlet. I wish they had an affiliate program because I refer a lot of people there, and their deco mesh, thumbs up, good quality. So we are taking, I did 19.5-inch pieces because sometimes, I get down to the last piece and I'm coming up short. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if they're just like, hey, let's wait and see if they're going to notice that we come up a little short, because I hate dipping into another roll just to get an extra couple inches on there. So I went with 19.5, and with the 19.5, look, I'll show you. Oops, this is all I had left, which is 6 inches left on my spool after doing 18 pieces at 19.5. That just goes to show you a few things. All right, we've got the first piece in. I think I'm gonna like this design. Because this is a jute burlap mesh, you're gonna need to cut it with the old rotary cutter, which means that frays can become an issue. A couple things you can do to prevent that. Number 1, taking your finished edges, placing your finished edges towards the inside and also the outside, meaning the cut edges now are on the sides. That helps. I'm just going to give it 1 complete twist. And then I forgot to go back in here and take this one out because our sign's going to take up the whole inside. So we're going to cut this off. Ta-da! Just like that. Push the little end back down. We're going to go ahead and make sure that this is fully extended and that the piece underneath goes all the way underneath. And then I'd like to take those cut edges and just kind of fold those over so that those raw edges, they don't catch on anything else. And you can hear the rain is starting up again, so it'll be an on and off. Oh, hi Carmilla. She said this wreath is timely, thinking about making one for your Shih Tzu. Nice. It's always good to keep a general all-purpose dog lover wreath in your inventory because that appeals to pretty much mostly everybody. Even though I don't have a dog, I am a dog lover. I just have cats. I like my cats. So this one's going to slide right in next to the other. Again, 2 twists. Just kind of fold your ends over, just like this. And then right here, I'm going to kind of tuck that behind so that we have like clear line of sight all the way around. So when we come in and we add our ribbons and embellishments and all the stuff, that'll all fit in there. You'll see how nice this deco mesh is. Guadalupe says it's 86 in Waco, Texas. Yeah, I know. You guys are getting your... That's supposed to be your spring weather? Or is that your summer weather? So I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to lay my inside piece in here. I'm doing what I call the next method, which means wherever I come to a pipe cleaner that is next, I'm going to put a piece of deco mesh in there. And then I'm going to tuck this back underneath, because this is my inside. Make sure my pipe cleaners are ready. And I'm going to go underneath this and make sure that everything is elevated for my next piece to go in. So I went with a general all-purpose color of a neutral cream and tan. I just felt that that would go good on black doors, white doors, red doors, blue doors. Instead of doing a blue base, which people might like, but it's limited. And sometimes I make that decision when I'm doing my designs is, you know, how popular is that going to be for someone? They might like the color, but, well, they want to put it on their door is another issue. Okay, so now I finished that section. We're getting ready to go into the next one, and I like to take the ends and kind of go a little bit above, just like this, a little bit below, so that when I squeeze this one in and plop my deco mesh in, I have coverage underneath. Cheryl says no hotter than usual. Okay, so that is unusual for you guys. Joan says very chilly here in Maryland. Cloudy, light rain, 53 degrees. Rain's in the forecast for the next 7 days. Wow. We have one more rainy day in our forecast here in Washington. And then nothing for the next 10 days. So that is odd. So I might be working on my garden, getting that all cleaned up and all sectioned off, because the chickens have had free range capabilities all over the garden space, and it's going to be time to cordon that section off and start putting our soil in, start getting everything amended for what we want to grow. I'm hoping that this will be a better grow year. Last year I kind of messed up in the fact that I didn't do what I had done my first year, which is really work on my soil amending. And I planted everything from seed. I didn't plant anything that was pre-grown. The year before, I planted things that were pre-done, pretty well on their way, and that just kind of gave my garden a boost. But the amendment that I did on my soil really helped out everything that we had grown. So no surprise why we grew nothing. We had carrots this year. We had green snap peas. We had corn. What else did we get? I loved growing a lot of flowers, because I do want to have a section in our garden for flowers, just because the people next door to us are beekeepers. So bringing the bees in is a good thing to our orchard. It definitely helps get our apples and all the produce going. So we need to do that. But I love a fragrant garden. So last year we just kind of spent time clearing things out and figuring out, you know, I don't want to grow everything just because you can grow it. So I just don't know. Laura, you are in Missouri. I think that's MO, right? Is it MO or MS? I'm going to go ahead and squeeze this one in. This is my left. Lower. Is that Michigan? Feels like 32 in gray. Hello. I love cold weather. I live for that. If you know me at all, some of you may not know, I love the rain. It is precisely the very reason I moved to the state of Washington. You like planting flowers and veggies, Cheryl? Same thing. I want to grow, like in our homes in the past, we've always grown things that are fragrant in our garden. So things like lavender, honeysuckle, jasmine, roses, carnations. I'm trying to think of what else we have had growing. We did morning glories, not fragrant, but they look beautiful. Plus, they're really good weed cover for us. Like if you want to cover your fence, put morning glory all over it. Some people may not like it because some people consider it a weed because it is it spreads. But we used it to cover our fencing and just fill our entire fence with like heart-shaped leaves and all different color morning glories. Gorgeous. So I need to do that, right? Pollinators especially. So yeah, lavender was big for us. We've always had a ton of lavender. Honeysuckle, and we always planted them right below the windows. So when those were like even night blooming jasmine, when you'd open your windows, you would have a very fragrant garden smell. And it always kept the hummingbirds busy too. All the pollinators. Butterflies, bees. We have a lot of bees already in our garden. They're all over. And I'm letting all my dandelion grow this year. Normally I go through and pull them all out. So I'm going to let them stay because those are the early pollinators for our bees. And then late in the season I'll go through and pull them out when it starts to get a little hot. I'm just not into eating dandelions. I know you can eat the whole plant, and we don't use any pesticides or fertilizers or any of that stuff because we're trying to grow organic. Even our chickens are no antibiotics, pure organic, fed, free range. I swear, when you see the amount of space our chickens have, I think our chickens have more space than we do in our house, which is crazy. And now I want more chickens. I think we should have them, at least one in every color. They're super fun to have, and they're super fun. They're easy to take care of. So I am removing the inside 6. Again, to recap, this is fabric, wide stripe in the cream and natural fabric mesh. Must be cut with a rotary cutter. It's giving us a very nice clean look. These are cut to 19.5-inch pieces, 18 of them. It used up exactly 1 roll of mesh, less 6 inches. That's all I had left on the roll. So I just gotta kind of come in and squeeze one in. There's that. 1, I do like 2 twists on the outside, and then I'll always come back in here to my center and just really fluff that up. Just kind of fully expand all the mesh in that general space, so it's providing full coverage. And then bend the corners and lift my pipe cleaners. 1, 2, 3. I think I have 4. 4 pieces left. Oh, you like planting moonflowers. Oh, they bloom at night. I wonder if they would grow here. I have never heard of that, Cheryl. Moonflowers. They sound really pretty. Okay, coming in, working our last full section. And I didn't prep this one. I did the top, I just didn't do the bottom very well. Okay, now I've got to go in and get this one, because that's what's going in next, our inside. What other questions do you guys have? This is a ruffle method. Do you know why I opted to go ruffle? You guys are going to like it. Why did Kat choose to go ruffle on this wreath? Those of you who have been following me for a while, it'd be great. See what you guys have. Let me get this one under. Got to get it under. And since it's a center, it has to come out. Okay, there's that one. Got to go up and over. But before I do, I need to come up and bring this one down, because this is our center. So I'm always just taking that little bit of extra time to make sure that they're all like fully fluffed out. There we go. And then we've got 2 in here we're gonna have to fight for. So I'm gonna kind of tuck this one down, and I'm gonna pull the center up. Those are our 2 centers now. So why did Kat opt to use ruffles in this method? Okay, so I'm going right in here, and then I'll have one more to mix the colors. Ooh, nice, Paula, to mix the colors so it looks more like the hair of the dog. And you know what's funny is looking at the dogs that are on that sign, I'm like, I didn't even realize, but yes, you are correct. They are definitely some of the colors of the dogs that are in the sign. There's another reason that I chose to do ruffle. Betty says if you like fragrant flowers, see if you can grow gardenia. Ooh, I love gardenia. We were unable to grow that in California because we lived in the desert. So they would stay green, but trying to get those to bloom in that hot desert sun, they just did not want to go. Okay, last one is in. One more twist, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get these all situated. Get all my pipe cleaners ready. Gonna take this one here, get that ready. So line of sight for the most part through these. Coverage, yes, to a certain extent, Cheryl. It's all gonna be pun. I did ruffles because we're doing a dog wreath and we're doing ruffles. That's the reason why. Because it's a dog wreath. It has to be ruffles. These are the ribbon choices that I have for today. we have, and as I introduce them, I will tell you where they came from. This is kind of a mint green and a white. We're doing a 30-inch, and it won't really fit on the camera. Nope, right there. 30 inches, inch and a half. We're going to be doing hand-tied bows. This is from Kringle Designs. Starts with a K, just like Kris Kringle. It's not .com though, it's kringledesigns.us. Then we are doing this lovely, iconic dog print. You have white and black bones, bone outlines. You have white and black hearts, and then obviously a ton of paw prints. This is from Craft Outlet, cut to 14 inches. This is our 2.5 that's going to go with that. Then we have paw prints and little dog bones on tan, black print. This is from the Wreath shop, cut to 19 inches. And then we are going to do the mint green with the white. Swiss dot, my all-time favorite, 14 inches. And you could get that from Fifth Street Studios. True, Paula, it does. It could make it look like it's wrinkles too, but it was a pun. While I was cutting it, I was like, oh, because I'm writing them down. 18-inch ruffles, and I was like, oh, that's fun. We're making a dog wreath, so we're doing ruffles like a dog. Okay, so I have folded it in half, just like this, dovetailed edges together, open it up so I know right where the true center is. I'm going to gather, pinch, place that right inside the pipe cleaner. You saw I just barely did a half a twist. And then I'm going to do the hand-tied bow. Space is a premium here. Okay, let's see if we can put these over. Let's move the glue gun down. Move this over. So hand-tied. It is 7 inches. So their dovetailed ends are already there. So count 7 inches and then you're going to gather. Transfer from right to left and go back. Measure out another 7 inches, gather, push it together, transfer it to your left hand and twist, put it back to your start-finish line, measure out another 7 inches, gather, push it up, transfer it to your left, and then you're going to push that all the way around, and that, my dear friends, is how you're going to get a super cute bow for our dog wreath. So like certain dogs have bows. So that's why I opted to do bows. And then we're going to give it a couple extra twists. We're going to go ahead and cut that off. I'm going to twist this all the way around the back so that when I open up my loops and I fan out my little bow tails, we have our super cute look, which, if you notice on the sign, go way light, right here around the sign, it's this plaid print. So sometimes our signs will give us the hints of what we could potentially put in there. Good one. Thanks, Laura. That was just like my lame pun for the day. And then I was like, oh, and then we're adding tails, ribbon tails. I was like, okay, this one's really coming together. This one, since it's only 19 inches, we're gonna go and bring our dovetail ends together. Go up about 2 inches, pinch in, just like that. We're gonna make a 3D awareness bow. We're gonna plop that right on the inside here. Go ahead and give it a couple extra twists, twist, twists. Cut the remainder off. Take that little tail. You're going to twist it all the way around behind that loop, so when you open it, you can no longer see the pipe cleaner. And then you're just going to right side the wrong side of your ribbon, and then just kind of fan those out. So this is the stylish look that we're going to be featuring all the way around the wreath. Okay, so back to square one. We're putting in the ribbon tail. And I think, so also the Swiss dot, like I said, was from Fifth Street Studios. But a lot of the ribbons you can get at the same location. Obviously, I've had some of these for a while, so it gives me the ability to just use some of them. So again, hand-tied bow, we're measuring 7 inches, taking that in, transferring it to my left hand, putting it back on my start line, which I'm just doing 20. Then I can measure another 7 inches, gather, transfer, twist, put it back on my 20-inch line, measure the last 7 inches, transfer to my left hand, and put that twist on it so that we have our bow all ready to go. Now here's the thing. You cannot put hand-tied bows all the way around your entire wreath. We actually run out of space to do that, so the half bows work really good, or awareness ribbons, whatever you want to call them. I call them half bows because they only have one loop. So again, fluffing, right siding, and then making sure we can see all the pretty stuff that we are putting in our design, and we just keep going around. You have lots of fruit vines and trees, right? We have 6, and it's so funny that you say that. We have 6 seedless grape vines that are really well established, so that has its own area. But believe it or not, Cheryl, we actually started growing wild grapes last year. They never fully, they were gorgeous looking, but they never tasted right. They were very, very bitter and sour. Chickens loved them. The birds loved them, which was great because it left the others alone. So those are growing wild outside of our blueberry bushes. And our blueberry bushes, I think we have, let me think. There's 2 in the chicken run, so the chickens actually have their own blueberries, but we fenced them off because otherwise they would never let them ripen enough to actually make good blueberries. But that is their 2 bushes, and then we have, I think, 15 that are in their own little area, and we share everything with what is here on the property: ground squirrels, birds, bunnies, deer. That's all I know of. And then we have 2 full rolls of thornless blackberries. And then we have, it's almost 3. And then 2 full rows of, they call them Carolina raspberries. Because if you maintain them really well, you should get 2 harvests in 1 year. So, and the sad thing is I didn't can anything last year. I did the year before. So here we go, we're twisting again. 7 inches. Back to the center and twist. And then this year we actually have to replace one of our apple trees. Our Macintosh apple tree died. We saw it die last year, and I was hoping that it might come back this year, but that thing is dead. There is no greenery and no life in it. But we have plum trees, peach trees, We used to have quite a few varieties of apples, and now those have kind of gone a different route. So we're going to supplement 3 different apple trees this year. There were some when we first moved into this property that I don't think they did very well. So the owners had cut them down and then left their tree trunks and branches in what was like considered a wood pile. You're supposed to burn them when you have rain. But they had thrown a whole bunch of stuff over it, so we never knew. And then when we looked at the map of the orchard and what was growing where, we realized quite a few of the trees were gone. So we're going to try this year and go back and replace those with the originals, which is Macintosh, Honeycrisp, I can't remember what the other 2 are, but we supplement and give them, like the ones that fall on the ground, we just pick them up, put them in a bucket, and we feed those to the deer. So they'll be happy here in August. They eat any of the leftover stuff that falls on the ground. That's why they hang out here. And then we're trying to work with our neighbors to kind of develop a little garden co-op thing to where everybody helps each other out. So like what we grow, we can share with our neighbors and vice versa. Kind of like a neighborhood garden of sorts, where everybody benefits. Oh, wild grapes, couldn't eat them. Oh, I know, I saw your grapes are making little babies now. Those are so cute. You're having trouble growing blueberries. Ours grow in the full sun all the time. So no shade for our blueberries at all. But I know you guys have really super hot weather there in Texas. We have our days where it can get pretty warm here. So I'm just readdressing all of where I want my ribbons to lay. Sometimes you just gotta retwist, fold things under so it looks nice and pretty and feminine. 48. See, Deborah, that sounds perfect. Finally coming to an end of our winter, so it'll be interesting to see what we can get in the ground. We have a really short grow season here. So August, September, that's pretty much the end. And our chickens are producing about 5 eggs a day for 7 chickens. Because chickens don't always lay every single day. There are some breeds that lay more than others. So the pretty ones don't necessarily, they're not the best layers, Cheryl. So think about that. Look for the ones that are going to produce an awful lot for you. But I love our chickens. I'm so glad I decided to keep them. Yeah, it is brutal there in August. Have you considered maybe adding, like having your husband put up some posts that you can put shade cloth over, that you can just kind of shade the tops a little bit, so it kind of keeps the bulk of that heat off? I'm going to try to pull these this way. There we go. Because I'm doing that for some of ours as it gets hotter in the summer. I'm putting up posts and putting shade cloth on top just to give them a break from way too much sun. Okay, that was a little backwards one, but it went in. So now I have to get up to the places and get all the things I need for growing. That's what I miss about my dad, not having my dad anymore, is we used to talk gardens all the time, trying to figure out who could grow. We would always have competitions to see who could outgrow the other one. And my dad lived in the perfect weather down there in Southern California, where I think if my dad just planted a seed and did nothing else, it would sprout up and just be tremendous and great. And here I am, struggling with almost everything I put in the ground. And of course, the things that I don't eat grow. And the things that I love to eat aren't growing. Like, I really want to grow big, huge tomatoes and basil and cucumbers. Corn, I think I've got that one down to a science now. And our first year here, we grew 3 pumpkins. That was interesting because we had never grown pumpkins before. 2 more to go, and then we can start. You want brown eggs? I'm trying to think who laid our brown eggs. I think, trying to think if it was our Rhode Island Red or our Brahma that laid the brown ones. Now it's it's called an Easter egger. She lays gorgeous brown eggs. And then we have one that does pink. Most of them do like a cream or an ivory. I need a greenhouse. And it's funny too, because I was telling Steve I want to build one from scratch. But the problem is I don't think I would, the things that I would want to grow in there, I don't think I'd want to go out in the weather and deal with. I know it would extend our grow season a little bit more. Taking all the fuzz from my pipe cleaners and moving those. And again, moving these ones over to this general direction. So, because these ones can, like, they don't get their own moment in the sun. You can see them because of how very little space is between. Last one going in. Looking forward to competitions with them in heaven. Yeah, I don't think we'll have a problem growing anything there. Okay, so there is this last one, fanning that out, making our last 3D awareness ribbon. I'm still, I think I want my bow to go in the upper left. And I think I have some embellishments, but I haven't figured out which ones I want to put where. Like I have 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3. I have 6. Yay. I was like, well. So there's that. Look how pretty that is. It's got a nice touch. And then here's that gorgeous sign. Trying to see if I can get that one light to go away. I have to almost go straight up and down because I have an overhead fluorescent, but that's the general idea of what we're doing. So kind of going a neutral base, popping it with the blue around the outside. Lots of dog paw print to keep the dog theme going towards the outside. And I'm thinking I'm going to put the bow like right here, kind of in this general direction. I've been doing bows at the bottom lately, which We could completely put that at the bottom and create another bottom bow, but I think I want an upper left. Vote now and tell me where you think we should put the bow. I'm going to set this aside and we're going to pull in all our ribbons. Trying to grab them all. Okay, so we are doing the teal or the mint green with the white Swiss dot, then the dog paw print. Those are our 2.5 inches. Then I think these are the other ones. Definitely the dog paw print is going on the outside. I think I did them like this. Let me see. So this one's an unusual ribbon. It is basically like that mint color, but it has cream, black, and brown little lines in it. So I thought it would be a unique way of introducing all the colors in to our design. That is from Hobby Lobby. And then the brown, tan, white, and black, they call it raised white stitching, is from Craft Outlet. So Craft Outlet for this one and Hobby Lobby for this one. So I'm just going to push those forward, grab our bow dabra, and we're going to knock out a bow real quick. I picked a right base color. I was going to toggle the blue and the tan and then just put tan ribbons on the blue mesh and then blue ribbons on the tan mesh. And I was like, do I really want to carve into two? So we dovetail in. I'm going to measure off 10 inches. Then I'm going to gather. This is right side fabric. I'm going to twist. So now we have the wrong side fabric facing us. Going to go up and over, twist and push down. And now I'm going to take my whole bow dabra, move it to the 10-inch line. I could do 20, doesn't matter. Just so that when I pull this out, I can see that I'm right at 5.5. Going to do the same on this side. Feels like that one's a little long. It is, it's closer to 6. Right there's 5.5. We're going to take this back out to 10 inches. We'll cut that. And dovetail is just bringing your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the fold to the wired point. And depending upon how high up you come determines how deep your V will be. Okay, so there's that one. That is in. Okay, now we're going to get our dog symbols, the hearts, the bones, and the paw prints. Dovetail the ends. And we'll go right up here. There's a nice dovetail for that. We're going to go 9.5 inches. So I'm just stopping around the 20, going 9.5. We're going to gather and twist. Place that right back down. And now I only want 5 inches for my ribbon tails. Be a little bit longer. We're right there. Up and over. And I always try to like figure it out before I measure it, just to see how close do I come. That one's a little long. And then we're going out 9.5 inches. Do our dovetail. It doesn't matter whether you do it wrong side out or right side out, just as long as you've got an edge on there. If you don't want a dovetail, you can do an angle cut, and you don't have to do them at all if you don't want to. I just feel like it gives it a really nice finished look. Deborah says, what is the length cut for your bows? Okay, so I'm doing those now. Little by little. For the hand-tied bows that I put on the wreath, those are 30 inches long. Okay, so I'm going to put a fresh cut on that because I hate dealing with the fold. Dovetail cut. This one, we're going to measure 9 inches. Gather, twist, place that back inside. And then I'm going to do 4.5 inches for my loop length. So I'm just going to bring it over, stretch it out and check it. Do the same on the other side. We're right there. And then back out for 9 inches right on that black line. Dovetail the end. So that's the one you wanted. So this one, to do my bow, this one is actually on my website. If you go to the website, catscreationsandmore.com, scroll all the way to the bottom and sign up for my email newsletter, I will send you the bow recipe, which is exactly what we're doing right now. And I always say that it yields a 11-inch in diameter bow, but that is measuring it from the loops. If we go from the outside, it is a 20-inch diameter bow. So now we're going to use this one. Kind of feels like a little bit of dog colors. Blacks, browns, tans, whites. And this one we're going 8.5 inches on. And we're going to do the same thing. Twist. Place this on the inside. I am going to actually do another 4.5 inch here. So because I've already measured the bottom, I can put my fingers in the bottom and in the top and pull till the top one's the same length. Or you can just measure it. I try to take advantage of whatever shortcuts I can. And then this one's going to go out to 8.5, right on that dotted line. Dovetail the end. Oh, there it is. Like I knew there was a pin there. Now we're going to take the diagonal plaid. Again, this was from Crinkle Designs. Dovetail the end. We're going to go 8 inches for this one. So gather at 8, twist, place that on the inside. We're going up and around and down, and we're going for 4 inches for our loop length. So I want to see that hit right on that 16-inch line right there. Do the same on the other side. There we go. Let's see. I'm so used to bringing it back to the 10. Nope, we need a little longer. There we go. And then back out for 8. And dovetail, and then we're on to the last one. And this one is our puppy feet and the dog bones. So dovetail the end. This one's going to be 7.5 inches. Hang on a second. I'm trying to click that. My daughter's calling. I don't think she realizes. She doesn't realize Mom's in the middle of a live. So up and over. We did 7.5 inches for the tail. We're doing 3.5 inches for our loop length. So this is just a cute little fun bow. And right there. And back out to 7.5. Put our dovetail cut on there. There's that. All the ribbons are in and stacked. I will grab my pipe cleaner. And we're going to bend it into a U shape. It's just easier to do this way. That way when you lift everything up, I'm pushing down with both sets of hands. And then I'm just going to transfer to one hand. So I can put this right down in the bottom. And I'm going to hold and twist. Holding my pipe cleaner, spinning my ribbons. Saves your hands. Put that away. Grabbing our fluff board, which is nothing more than a 24 by 24 by 1 inch thick piece of wood. It just has fancy laminate strips on it. 2-inch C-hook is going to allow me to kind of come right inside here, loop that right over my pipe cleaner so that, I like doing it this way, since this is going upper left, turn that just slightly, we're going to start from the bottom and I'm going to pull the loop to the left, tail to the right, or it could be either or, whichever one. One goes one direction, the other goes the other side. Then you go all the way to the opposite side and you go opposite. So we're taking the loop to the right, tail to the left. So that if I pick all these up, the tails are directly across, the loops are directly across. Now we're going to bring down the next one. So we went this direction. We're going to bring our loop over here and our tail to the other side. Get that crease out. There we go. And then back over here, bring our loop out to the right and our loop or tail to the right, loop to the left. So now it's staggering our colors. If we keep the same pattern up, we're going to have all the blues on one side and all the browns on the other. So right here, I'm going to break it up. I'm now going to follow the dog paw print. So I'm just going to go right over the top. From here, I'm going to follow through here, go back, and now this is going to follow that Swiss dot pattern. Loop to the left, go in and fix that. Tail to the right, go over here, same thing. Got my tail here and my loop here. So now we've got those ones down. So the same dilemma presents. So again, I'm going to go right on top because then I'm staggering the colors all the way through. Okay. Do the same on the opposite side. Right here. And then for our last loop, I am going to follow the blue. So I'm going to pull that there. And then this is going to go here. So what you'll see is that I have all of my tails gathered, all of my loops gathered. Everything is flat and flush. To fluff, I'm just going to lift, put my fingers inside those loops and lift them up. And I like doing a little crisscross pattern. It looks visually interesting, which always draws your eye to the bow because it's not matchy-matchy. Here, you can decide if you want the turquoise in the center or do you want the brown, whichever you would like. Designer's choice is entirely up to you. Just whatever you do on one side, make sure we do it on the opposite. So I'm just moving my tails around just like that. And then the bigger 2.5 inch. I find it's easier if you just put all 4 fingers in there and give it a really good fluff. Same thing here. Nice big full fluff. Right over here. And then right over here. So again, still have all of my tails here. Just wherever you like things to be. And then to put your curls, you're just going to run them through your fingers like they were curling ribbon, and your fingers are scissors. And that'll put that little curl all the way back in all of your ribbon. And it goes to all of them. It just doesn't show very well on the flat board because those longer ribbons don't really have any place to go. But if you're taking a photo, you'd want to make sure that you can see all your colors, right? So something along that line, just like that. That's our bow. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take this off the opposite way I put it on. Move this out of the way. We're going to put our sign on. So the first thing we're going to do is add our business card to the back. That way, if your customer loses your business card, they have it on the back of the sign. And I have changed my business cards now. It is QR code. So if someone has a camera, they can shoot the QR code, takes them right to the website. Super simple. Now, we are going to punch holes in our sign. I'm going to go side to side. So I'm going to take a 1.5 millimeter beadsmith metal hole punch. And that's going to allow me to punch a hole right through the sign. Just like that. And now, because of our mesh, that jute burlap, I like to use floral wire. Take about 14-inch pieces of 22 gauge floral wire. And there's that one. Rhode Island red, lace brown. Yeah, when we first had ours, we had a Rhode Island red, a Brahma, and a Buff Orpington. Which is perfect, because everything you see at Tractor Supply always features the red, the yellow, and the white chickens. So it worked out perfect for us. Until the raccoons. The raccoons ended 2 of our chickens in a very bizarre, tragic accident. So we still have our Buff Orpington. She's a sweetheart. And then we've added 6 more. Yeah, 6 more. So I like to put about a 1/4 inch base on my wire. So when I'm fishing it through, and this will work even with a pipe cleaner too. It's just easier to get these in. I'm going to twist right over the top of the hole. So just keep going right over the hole. And this way it keeps your metal sign flat and not out to the side like a spinner. Okay, we're going to bring this over. Set this off to the side. I'm going to use the ingenious center ones we took out. So I am just going to go right over the top. So I'm going to put one end of my wire in and fish that down. And I'm going to go to the other side. Try to get it under. Okay. I'm going to pull this back just gently. And I kind of want it to line up right about here. So I'm thinking I'm just going to give it like one twist, just in case I have to rearrange it. So I always want to make sure that I find the other one, and it's right here. Here's this one. Oop. Sometimes it gets all caught up on all the other mesh that I don't want it to get stuck on. So I'm going to pull this one down as well. We don't want to bring it all the way down to the deco mesh base. We do want to just kind of lightly indent it a bit, because we don't want it 3 inches lower than where our deco mesh ruffles are sitting. I am going to take this, because this is pretty much right where I want to bring my bow, and I'm going to take these, because these will prevent my bow from sitting closer to the sign. This is just something I have done in the past. Other people just plop their bow right on the top, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I like to actually make it at home. So it's going to go right in here, kind of right in this area. And knowing where my loops are allows me to kind of come in and place that right over where I want it to go. Like a little bouquet. Like a bow bouquet. Kind of right there. So let me get the, I always get one. One always goes in really super easy, and then the other can be a bit of a challenge. Okay, I think I got them both. I'm gonna just tuck and hold that in place. I'm just making sure that, because sometimes you don't know, we might think that we are hitting the frame, and then lo and behold, when you look underneath there, you're like completely missed it. It's on something totally different. So now I'm going to lift and fluff all my loops again. Now that it is home, and we can make all these just kind of display really nice. You can bring anything you want anywhere. You're the designer, you decide what you want. If you want to bring some of your tails over, by all means, you know, bring them over if you want. So right there. Nice, super cute look. Still hate that glare. Hold on, I'm gonna try to do it. Okay, that kind of gives you like bird's eye view. So now we're just gonna add a couple small embellishes to this. You could come back in if you wanted, and you could add more to the outside. What I'm going to do is on some of these select ones, I'm thinking it's where the double bow is. I'm just going to add these little dog paw print balls, and they're plastic, they're not glass, so you have to be careful not to smash them, but I'm thinking like right in here. So they're going to kind of fit right there, right there. I'm sure you get the idea. These were from Hobby Lobby at Christmas, and I'm always, when I go shopping anywhere, any time of the year, I'm always looking for something to add into our design. I'll put this one here. That will take care of that. I was looking for these little clay dog heads that I had, and I can't find them. So I am going to pull the little ornament hooks off. That reveals that little end here. I'm just going to lightly frost it like a cake and tuck that in the center. There's one. Because sometimes when we glue it here, they can become dislodged, and then the things that we've glued fall off because the hanger went wayward. So these are just getting glued right on top of our pipe cleaner. So frost it like a cupcake and plop it right back down inside. I like to try to make sure there's a nice cute dog bone in there. Up and over, right to the inside. Oh, I think I got that one. So there's all kinds of fun things that you can add to this. You could go to places like PetSmart and, nope, didn't do that one. And pick up cute little dog toys, like little squeaky toys. I do that at Halloween to add them to the grapevine paw print wreaths, because they usually have like cute candy corns and pumpkins and stuff like that, and I'll put those in the wreath, making sure that I leave it, that if the pet owner wants to take it out, they can. So that is our design. Super simple. I'm going to lift you up just like so, and we'll take this one down, and we're going to put up our dog paw print. Let me just curl my ribbons at the very, very top so I don't have to reach way up. So this is the ideal design for that. Make sure, you guys know I'm a stickler about that. Make sure all of your ribbons and ribbon tails are all featured predominantly. You know, we put them all in there. We want to see them all. So just kind of make sure you can see all the things. No curly ends. Make them nice, crisp ribbon tail ends so that you can see all the things all the way around. I think I have one over here. There we go. And that is a super simple design that looks great. Doesn't take an awful lot of materials to do. 1 roll of deco mesh, 6 different rolls of ribbon. As long as you have about 40 inches, you can create the bow with what you have. You will need enough to go around the outside. And the one thing that I always want to encourage you is, let's say for example you run out of a ribbon when you're doing the tails and it's a 2.5 or it's 1.5 inches. No big deal. Go ahead and substitute and put another ribbon in and just finish the design. It doesn't have to be matchy matchy. Like, it doesn't have to be like all the ribbons she used on the outside are all in the bow. I don't always do that. Sometimes what I use on the outside is the outsides, and then I make a complementary coordinating bow that matches that with maybe a couple of them, but a little bit different. So it just gives you a different look. So what do you guys think? Super cute. Cheryl says, I love buying signs from Pam. She can customize them. Georgiana says, looks beautiful. Connie says, very cute. Joan says, another beautiful creation. Laura Seeker, such a gorgeous wreath. Rocio, she said, I'm in late, but you got to see the finished design. It's going to go to auto replay as soon as I finish. So what was I going to say? Trying to think. Something I was going to say. Was it buying signs? No, it had something to do with what I'm doing. Now I'm not going to remember. I'll remember right when I hit end. Oh, if you guys want to see the conversation and you're watching this on replay and you're like, I don't see any of those people. If you're on YouTube, there's an option on the video where you can click live chat and you can read the comments as they were coming through in the live chat. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys have